What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In this week's video, we are doing our conclusion for this massive platform bed. If you didn't catch last week's video, we made this giant headboard for the platform bed. So obviously we got to make the bed part now. So the first thing we are gonna do, we are gonna take our other 4x4 that we have right down there, and we are gonna cut those. We're gonna cut two posts at 17¼ inch tall, because this platform is gonna rest at 18 inches, and we're gonna use 3/4 inch plywood on top of the framing. I used my clamps here just to kind of help support the top bar in place. Definitely need a longer table or wider table. I don't know. I'm making do with what I'm working with. I don't like to rely on my floor too much just because there's so many weird crooks and grooves in it that kind of make it tough to perfectly balance everything. So I try to keep everything on the table as much as possible. But this is our end board now for the framing. What I'm gonna do next is cut all the 2x4s for this interior here to create braces. And then I'm gonna do that same thing on our headboard as well. And we're gonna get into that right now. Alright, so we have our bracing done for our end frame. I pretty much spaced them every 16 inches. It got a little squirrely, as John Malecki would say, down towards the end. So we just floated those bad boys in. But this part's done. And so now we're going to do that same process over here. I'm going to just figure out where 17¼ inch is for our 2x4 piece. That'll get jigged into place there. And then we will proceed to put braces all along, just like we did down here. So less talking, more doing. Let's get to work. I don't know if you could tell in the time lapse, but there was a few pieces of 2x4s that I redid in terms of their pocket holes, because I accidentally drilled them into shallow depth for 1¼ inch and not 1½. And as a result, I ended up actually popping through with the screws. So my advice that I learned is, if you mess up a pocket hole and drill it too shallow, even if you correct it with the correct thickness, the hole will still be too deep and you might shoot a screw through. So maybe just try flipping the piece around or cut a new piece as a brace. But that was a mistake I made, and just wanted to relay that information so you don't do what I did. All right, back to the video. Right, so as you saw, we got our beam in for our headboard, and then we got the studs, and then you can see them matched up with the end piece with the front. Pretty much exactly lined up, except for the two pieces on the end board that I kind of squirreled in. But these two pieces are done. So now what we have to do is we have to go and turn my camera. So then I'm gonna go procure, as the folks in the business world say, some 2x4s that are 10 feet long. I'm gonna need about 4 of those. And I'm gonna grab 2 more 2x4s for our side framing. And yeah, so I'll check back in with you after I buy those. So as you can see here, we now have our 4 posts that are gonna connect to the end frame of this massive, massive bed. You can see I was not playing any games. The one thing that's gonna be tricky now though is I have a Craig Jig R3, that's what this bad boy is. However, you can see the plastic piece that normally goes on the clamp is missing because it's broken. So I'm gonna somehow have to balance perfectly 101 inch long pieces with my K4 or R4. I don't even know. It's the 4. But this is gonna be tricky, but we'll get it done. This is ideally when you would switch to like the R3, because it's just so much easier to just clamp on the end of these massive pieces while they're laying down, versus trying to balance something so massively tall in the air. So let's have some fun, I guess. we go. We have all of our framing in place now for the sides. So the next thing we need to do is cut about 6 pieces to be our side braces on this bad boy. And we got some scrap 2x4 as well as some new 2x4. So we are gonna do that now. However, because you've seen me do this twice already, we'll probably just fast forward to the next step. So I'll see you at the next step. All right, so as you can see, all of the side framing is now done. We have all of our quote unquote studs in there for the bracing, and we are done for today. You can see this thing is just absolutely massive. Our next step is we are gonna make braces that run left to right, all the way down in line with each of these studs right here. Problem that I'm definitely gonna be having is I'll have to take out all these back studs here, because the way I plan on disassembling this to deliver it, because it's gonna have to be done in about 4 or 5 trips most likely, I'm gonna have to take out those back braces in order to get to the pocket holes that tie into the 4x4s down here. So that'll be one little hurdle, but other than that, we are looking good. We are in good shape. Tomorrow we'll be doing all these center braces. So I'll see you then. What we did is we cut our 6 braces for the studs that'll go horizontally on the bed from left to right, and then we cut all the braces that will be in between these to just give it extra support. So that was a lot of cutting, but we are done. So now we got to do a lot of pocket holes, and I'm not going to show you that because you see me do that a lot in almost every video. So pocket holes are happening, and you'll see me once I'm securing these bad boys into place. So, boom. And just like that, we have all of our horizontal slats in on the top and the bottom. So now to balance and properly structure these slats, we are gonna take all of these 2x4s that are cut to size and already pocket holed, and we are gonna go through and put in our braces so that this is actually strong enough to support people. So let's do that. And just like that, we have all of our support beams in place now. We are way more sturdy. So the next thing that we have on the docket is to buy a bunch of birch plywood, 3/4 inch, and start making these panels for this so that, you know, it doesn't just look like this. But that's for tomorrow. I'm pretty sweaty. It's pretty late. Check in with you tomorrow. All right, so we have panel 1 of 4 cut and complete. One thing that I didn't really anticipate that I'm noticing is going to be an issue is right here is obviously when the next panel would start going to the edge. But obviously, we have nothing to tie into. So what I'll have to do is probably just put in maybe 1 or 2 extra braces in the middle here, just with the pocket hole to jig in so that these next panels here can tie into something. So we will address that issue once the panels are done and cut. So we're gonna cut 3 more of these panels into place, but I will only show you when I have to cut pocket hole, or not pocket holes. We're gonna use my jigsaw to cut out these corners here that will need to be measured, but we will do that and you will see that in the next clip. As you can see, we have platform 3 of 4 in place. Obviously you can see the sag in the middle of the bed right here because we don't have those braces in yet, but we're gonna get this last panel cut, and before I put that in, I'm gonna make sure I get my 4 extra braces in the center there, and voila, we should be grooving. So let's do it. And just like that, our 4 panels have been cut, set in place. I've also secured them. So tomorrow I'm probably gonna go over all our edges, make sure they're all true to the sides. Oh, my head. But overall right now, this is a very solid bed. You know, I've been walking around on it, bouncing around on it, and it's maintaining my big old butt. So we're in great shape. Like I said, once we sand the edges, I'll sand the top, and I have a pretty cool idea of how I want to do the top. So hopefully my idea comes to fruition. But our next step will be to cut all of our panels for our siding on this, the siding on the sides and the front here. And then we will be truly in the home stretch, but a lot of progress made. I'm happy with it. Let's go to tomorrow. Right, so it is tomorrow. And what we have done today is we cut all of our panels for the siding here. So you see our edge piece, our two side pieces here, as well as our two side pieces here. And what I did for that is simply just rip them with my circular saw. I have two 54-inch panels on both sides. So 4 54-inch panels, 18 inches tall. Then this one 75.5 or 77-inch long panel here, also 18 inches tall. So now that's all cut. These are all secured and in place, as you can see. But next, what I'll have to do is I want to start working on the design for the top here in terms of the stain and the finish we're going to be doing with that. And then once that one's done, I'll come back in because I wasn't sure which edges would be appearing for the sides and such. So I kind of left most of them as is. So I'll have to go over those in some honey. And again, this is the same thing like our headboard. So if you didn't watch that video, this is just a honey stain that is burnt with some Sho Shugi Ban. But a lot has been done, so we are in good shape. And let's get to work on this top design. So, not gonna lie to you, a little upset simply because I was really hoping this burn effect would look good, but I don't know if it's because it's maple or whatever, but I don't like how it looks at all. I obviously used my torch to get it going and came in with the Benzomatic torch to try to get all the fine tunes, but it's just not looking good and I'm pretty upset. And I fried right here a lot. So I think I'm gonna continue the trend that I started on the headboard and work in honey in those burn areas. And I think that'll help make this look a lot better and I'll actually like it. So that's what we're gonna try. And that's the perk of being able to have creative freedom on a project from somebody. So here goes nothing. All right, so going over it with the honey turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with how we saved it. And we touched up all the edges here of the plywood. And now we are going to be ready to put some urethane on this. We're probably going to do the same thing as we do with the headboard, 3 to 4 coats. But yeah, so until next clip. This project is officially done. We have all of our polyurethane on there, all sealed up. We have wiped it all down with some cardboard in order to give it a nice smooth finish. And that's it for this project. Now I have to take this all apart and deliver it. So that's gonna be quite the task, but I knew that what I was getting into and there's no complaints here, but I'm absolutely happy with how both of these projects, the headboard and the actual bed itself, turned out. This looks so good and I'm so excited. I've already showed sneak peeks to the client. They love it, and this is definitely my biggest project to date, and it is done, so that feels good. And yeah, so I'm signing out. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notifications. Let me know what you think of this bed. And yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night. Don't forget to keep God number one. God bless.